Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's been a pleasure to hear what everyone has shared with us today. I think Joanne referred to the diversity of topics, and it really has been interesting for us to listen to everybody. Thanks to Alyssa and Erica for keeping us on target today. And I wanted to start by thanking one of my colleagues, Jennifer Fox, who was supposed to be here with you all today. She has graciously provided me her speaking notes so that I could step in at the last minute and make sure that we still had something to share with you today. And I also wanted to thank Pam Downey. She's the illustrator of the slides that you're going to see today. She has done really beautiful work with the Indigenous Parallel. So my name is Marla Kailly. And yes, I'm speaking in the right part of the agenda, despite the fact that I'm clearly not a young person anymore. But I have the pleasure of working with two of our youth elders that are here with you today. We have a third one that's at home in Calgary, and they will introduce themselves shortly. I am a non-Indigenous woman and a settler who was born and raised in Mohkinstsis, otherwise known as Calgary, in Treaty 7 territory. My family's background is Punjabi on my father's side. I'm third generation Canadian, and German and Austrian on my mom's side. And depending on who you talk to, I'm fifth to seventh generation Canadian. I really have immense gratitude and feel blessed to be working in the role that I have now as a manager with the Indigenous Parallel at my home fire organization, United Way of Calgary and area. And the folks at Muskanawa too are here with us today, and Jennifer and Megan that Joanne referred to earlier, an Indigenous led and an Indigenous serving organization. So I'll hand it off.
Kansai, in the creator's name, it is I, Wape Mistimiskwayo, White Horsewoman. My name is Tara. I am from Ochapois First Nation Treaty 4. However, I lived in Treaty 7 territory my whole life. I joined the Planet Youth team in April of 2024. As a youth elder, my role is to be there for the young people in our community, to support them as they navigate the challenges they face, and to help them connect with their culture, resource, and strength that will guide them towards a brighter future. But if I'm honest, the reason this role means so much to me goes deeper than just supporting others. It's personal. I help our young people because I see so much of myself in them. I was a kid in care, growing up in a system that made me feel like I didn't matter. Sorry. I'm sorry. Like my voice didn't matter. Didn't count. Too many times I felt invisible, overlooked, and unsure of where I belonged. And I know that many of our youth feel the same way. The first way I try to support our young people is by helping them connect to their culture. For many of them, especially those who have maybe been disconnected from their heritage or family traditions, this is more than just learning about history. It's about finding their sense of identity. Culture is powerful. It tells them who they are, where they come from, and that they are part of something much bigger than themselves. It gives them a foundation, a sense of belonging, and when you have that, you can move forward in life with confidence and strength. But connection to culture is just the beginning. Many of our youth don't just need cultural knowledge. They also need someone to lean on. Sometimes what they need most is a person they can trust, a mentor who will listen to them without judgment, and I try to be that person. One of the most important parts of my role is simply making sure our young people know their voice matters. Too often, we underestimate the wisdom and insights young people bring to the table. They are often overlooked or told that their concerns don't hold weight. But as someone who has been in their shoes, I understand how much it hurts to feel like no one is listening. So I make it my job to listen, to hear their worries, their hopes, their dreams, and to help them find ways to make those dreams a reality. Every young person deserves to be heard. I take the issues and concerns of our young people and bring them to the Planet Youth table. where we make decisions with the elders in our community and other organizations that can offer support. It's about building a community where they feel safe and supported. It's about creating a place where they know they don't have to face life challenges alone. It's about teaching them that even when the world feels heavy, there's always hope. There were two key women in my life who truly shaped the person I am today, Jen and Paige. Jen, my old youth worker, was by my side through all my struggles, but also when things were going really well. Jen taught me to be courageous, to stand up, and to be loud and proud of who I am. Jen taught me to, She showed me through her actions that she really cared about me. She made me believe that I could do amazing things in life with just a little push. And that's exactly what she did. Jen challenged my fears alongside me and helped me overcome so much. I don't think I'd be the strong, independent woman I am without Jen's support. She showed me that my life matters. Jen was a huge positive role model in my life. Paige, Jen's colleague, is such an incredible woman. Paige has been through it all with me. She taught me that I have a voice and that what I say matters. Paige taught me the value of patience. And like Jen, she really saw me for who I was, not just a client, but as a person. Both Jen and Paige never made me feel small. They taught me that my voice matters and to use it loud and proud. Not once did they make me feel less important. Whenever I brought my concerns to them, they made sure my voice was heard, and they always worked with me to find solutions. They taught me to be an advocate for myself and others, and they also encouraged me to keep fighting for what's right. Musconwa has played a huge role in helping me connect with my culture. Since I was 13, I've been going to ceremonies and working to connect with my spirit. Musconwa has been there to guide me, especially when I've struggled. Through their support, I've learned the importance of culture connection and healing and strength. My culture has been the foundation of my identity, and it's a place I return to when I need guidance. It's upside down. All of this is important to how I support youth because I know from personal experience how powerful it is to be seen, to be heard, and to be supported. I know what it feels like to be lost, to feel like your voice doesn't matter, and not know where to turn to. But I also know the transformative power of culture, the strength that comes from having people who believe in you, the importance of having a safe space where you can express yourself without fear of judgment. As a youth elder, my role is to be the safe space for our young people, to listen to them, to validate their feelings, to help them reconnect with their culture, like Jen and Paige did for me. I want to show them that their lives matter, that their voice matters, and that they have strength to overcome whatever challenges they face. Every young person deserves to know that they are not alone and that they have the power to create change in their own lives. With support, patience, culture, our young people can achieve amazing things just like I did. And some things I have learned within myself and as a youth elder is that patience goes a long way, and it gives our young people time to trust me. I've built a better confidence within myself. I've built a nice professional relationship with the students in a junior high. But most importantly, I learned that showing up matters. I'm going to say a quote from Grace to finish off my speech. I believe that we can be extraordinary together rather than be ordinary apart. Thank you.
Tansei Oki. Hello, in Korea's name, my name is Singing Willow Woman. My government name is Summer. I am from Tree 7 region of Calgary, Alberta. I am from Cold Lake and Sioux Valley, Dakota Nation in Manitoba. I have a very diverse background, which is Blackfoot, Cree, Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Mohawk, African American, Scottish, Dakota, and French. I am also, as you heard, a youth elder with Planet Youth at Musconwa. What we do as youth elders, we go to the schools and interact with the Indigenous youth, which could be talking to youth about things they need, just be there to listen and support them with whatever they need. Like say if they want an elder to come and have them share their experience and stories. or if they just want to learn how to make ribbon skirts, shirts, whatever they want. We are currently at 6 different schools in total right now. We also attend community events like circles, youth carnivals, and family nights, etc. An example of family night is when the students in the leadership class put on their very first family night ever. The students created, led, and facilitated a family night for the very first time, and the outcome was amazing. This was also amazing for the students because a lot of the families of the students who were in the leadership class never been to the kids' school or even met the kids' teachers until that night. Also with Planet Youth, we facilitate circles with the youth and adults. I believe these are called wellness circles. I don't know the exact name. I just work there, so okay. But in these circles, we invite youth and adults to join and tell us how we can better the community. We also have an elder who come to the circle to listen and share their experience. With us going to the schools, to these community events and circles, we are listening to the youth and acting as a voice to them since we are closer to the age group and have lived through different kinds of life experiences. We are able to connect to the youth more and build professional relationships with them, since they'll feel more comfortable telling us about stuff they won't share with their parents, guardians, or teachers. If the needs and wants they tell us in their community or schools, we're able to bring these to the meetings we attend. Now we get to the point of why. Why is this work important to me? Why do I keep doing this? Why have I kept doing this type of work when I haven't had anyone to mentor me or support me when I was younger? Well, the answer is right there. I haven't had the support or had someone to talk to when I was younger. If I did, it would have helped me build up my confidence and self-esteem. It would have connected me to my culture sooner, and maybe I would have had a sense of belonging if I had someone like these youth do. That's why this work is important to me, to help the youth, especially the Indigenous youth, to feel more confident and have more self-esteem. When Megan approached me at a round dance and offered me to join Planet Youth, I was very happy, but also very nervous to having to work and speak to big groups of people, since I have severe social anxiety. But the more we go out and engage with people helps me be more confident. Why continue doing that, even when I have the worst anxiety to the point where I have to create a whole script just to book a doctor's appointment? Well, ever since I was a little kid, I've always been a helper, kind, and caring person to others, even though I was the shyest one. I don't like to judge people for the race or the color of their skin. I judge them for who they are as a person. I try to keep a positive mindset and be kind to others because you never know what that person went or is going through in life. How I was taught this was from a couple important people in my life. One of them is from my old high school teacher who was my chef, Chef Bessoff, Betty, or even just Chef Robert. He showed me kindness every day. I went to school. He was my father figure for high school and even after I graduated. He taught me so many things, and even though I was so shy in high school and kept to myself, he was always there for me. Even when I felt like no one cared about me and no one could hear me, that no one would ever hear me. He changed that. He was the one who encouraged me to get into my culture more, him and my homeschool teacher, Miss Greenfield. They both encouraged me to get into my culture more. And my mom was also a big part of that. We talked after school about things that my school could do better with the Indigenous youth and help us feel more connected. I was the first student to bring in missing and murdered with the help of my teachers. And I won't be who I am today without them. To be honest, I probably wouldn't even be here if I never met them. And I'm forever thankful for meeting Chef Bettisoff and Miss Greenfield. For the positive mindset I learned and to not judge people because you never know what they're going through life. I learned that from my late grandfather, Morrison Rayner. He was a great man and taught me and my family to always treat people with respect and to never go to bed mad or upset with anything or anyone. because, as he used to say, you never want to go bed mad or upset because you never know if you wake up the next day. From the stories that my mom told me, he never turned away anyone. The one story that will forever stay with me and I will forever tell is when he did his church one day. And this man came in and brought a case of beer, and everyone laughed at him and glared at the man. But my grandfather had that man stay, and he listened to the story about why he bought the case. He bought it because he wanted to quit, and he supported that man on his road to recovery. All because that man didn't feel judged and he felt listened to. In a whole room full of people who judged and made fun of him, there was one person who showed kindness and showed that someone was willing to listen and believe in him. And for us being adults, being the role models for the youth, they look up to us and they trust us on a number of levels, to where they feel comfortable enough to talk to us because they don't feel judged. They feel supported and they feel like someone's actually listening to them. They see hope and they believe in themselves when we show we believe in them. What have I learned so far about being a youth elder? I've learned so many things from being a youth elder. I've learned how to be more confident with who I am and speaking more in big groups. The school that I go to right now, the teacher offered me to start the smudging circles. And for that, I will like to smudge and I will start the question of the day. I also learned that even though kids we work with are still very young, they have a lot of knowledge themselves. And even though we're supposed to be the adults and role models, the ones who they look up to most of the time, they teach us a lot of things that we might not even know about in these times or about ourselves, since they are our future. Thank you.
How do you follow that? Thank you both. It's really, so now I'm gonna cry. It's really inspirational to be able to work alongside these two, Tara and Summer, and we have a third youth elder back home, Taylor. Just what Summer was saying about young people teaching them, they are teaching me every day that I come into work. So I just had a few words to share from Jennifer, and I think some of you might be wondering about the term youth elder. You've probably heard about elders in the community, but what about youth elders? So Joanne shared earlier in her presentation that we've been working closely and still continue to work with elders from across the Treaty 7 territory from different nations, considering the urban context that we live in and the variety of youth elders the variety of youth and youth elders that we are working with. During some of our early conversations, Elder Dr. Reg Crowshoe, who you saw in the video earlier, shared with us a little bit about how education and teaching occurred in pre-contact Blackfoot communities. Now, if you're fortunate to listen to teachings from elders, you also know they can be in depth and detailed. And I don't have either that much time nor an elder's breadth of knowledge. But basically in the Blackfoot culture, they have these groups that they call societies. And children would transition through these societies based on their age and development stage. As you move to the next society, part of your responsibility would be to mentor and teach the younger kids behind you. So if you think about within the context of a Western education system, if you're in grade 3, then it would be your responsibility to mentor the grade 2s. This idea also really aligns with Miskanawa's organizational values and a Cree teaching that they have received about Setoskatchewan, which teaches us about the spirit of reciprocity and coming together in communities to support one another. Together with these concepts in mind, we have worked to engage some young people, like our youth elders, with diverse life experiences, school experiences, and family experiences, and who young people would relate to, because naturally the youth are more likely to connect with them than someone old like me who doesn't know what it's like to be a young person anymore. So the term youth elder came from Elder Reg, and it's our way of recognizing the gifts and the wisdom that they bring to our circles. If you're embarking on your own work with Indigenous community, you can consult with the elders and cultural leaders in your own communities and decide whether this term is something that you would like to embrace, or maybe you would pick something else. A few last words. I won't share everything here, but we wanted to talk a bit about why the Indigenous Parallel is important work and why we're working so closely with elders and why we're working with youth elders. We know that Indigenous culture is incredibly relational, and due to the history around the treatment of Indigenous peoples in this country, it's going to take time to engage and build relationships with young people and their families and communities before they'll trust us and trust the process. And different from the non-Indigenous work happening within Planet Youth in Calgary, our work is also not bound by specific geographic boundaries. So we're meeting young people where they're at. That could look like, for example, going into schools, like the youth elders that are doing, that have populations of Indigenous students, attending events in the community, and in some cases going out to reserves to consult with families, elders, and stakeholders, particularly in communities that access services in the city. Perhaps more than maybe even some other cultures, we recognize the challenges that impact Indigenous young people are a symptom of the bigger context around colonialism and intergenerational trauma. We know that we can't help Indigenous youth without placing them in the context of their families and their communities. And when I say family, I mean not only the nuclear family that we tend to think of, but also aunties and uncles and cousins. We're really trying to see and work through a community lens. Thank you.